wanted to.
Been ready for this my whole life. Call this meeting to order and stand for a moment of silence and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Look for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Commissioner Daniel, second by Commissioner Felber. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Open forum. Keisha.
We have nobody signed up, Board Chair.
Well, we're moving right along. Bruce, we'll move on to employee recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I have 2 employee recognitions for today. First, we have a guest in the audience who's been here before, but we wanted to bring Peach up so you can see how much Peach has grown. Do you want to come up to the front here? And also to note that Peach has completed quite a bit of her training already and is absolutely doing wonderful. Hi, Peach.
Always a nice touch, Peach.
And then also later on the consent agenda, we do have a donation so Peach can continue her training. And we wanted to recognize and thank Commissioner Gray and his wife for their donation to the service dog so that Peach can continue training and also get the proper equipment. As you know, we've been using grant funds and other funds for this therapy dog, and Peach is doing absolutely wonderfully. So if the board is willing, I thought we should take a picture since Peach has grown quite a bit. So if you guys would come up real quick and give Peach a pet, I'll take a quick picture.
I can't pick her up this time. There's a little bigger
Well,
than
Greg
she used to
probably
be.
will try.
Does it work?
All right, you come to the center. Yeah.
Over to you always.
All right.
Heel.
You got to sit down.
Oh, gotta get our lights on. Give me a second.
Good girl, yeah.
Yeah, those are annoying.
Pay attention. Pay attention.
Right. Ready? Okay, Peach, you gotta say hi. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hi. Perfect. Thank you, hon.
Thank you very much. She says thank you. Now she can drive.
That's good.
Good deal.
Belly rubs are good.
We got you. All right, it's you there.
Thank you, Bruce. Oh my gosh. Now you're all
We can
riled up.
adjourn now, can we? Everything's over with? We done?
No, we're gonna be
It seemed like all the important business for the day.
Chairman.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion. Motion to adjourn.
All right.
Dog thing out of the way.
Second recognition is for one of the folks that is here at every board meeting, but we hardly ever see him. So I would ask if Adam would come out from the producer's booth
Okay. Oh, yeah.
and join us up here.
He's not coming.
He's not coming. He better come. Adam. Oh, there he is.
Here?
There you are. You don't have to stand awkwardly. You can take a seat.
Well, first off, you're not as cute as the dog. We'll just start
Yeah.
with that.
So today we're going to talk about Adam and Six Sigma. So Six Sigma, for those of you who don't know, is a data-driven methodology for process improvement that aims to eliminate defects and reduce variation to improve quality and efficiency in organizations and processes. It achieves this by using a set of quality management tools and statistical methods, most commonly called DMAC, or Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control, and to find and remove the root causes of errors. Today, we are proud to recognize Adam McAllister for earning his Six Sigma Green Belt. The Six Sigma Green Belt certification is an intermediate certification designed for professionals who want to lead or support improvement projects. It's ideal for those with prior exposure to Six Sigma or a Yellow Belt certification. Green Belt applies the methodologies to reduce variation, improve quality, and drive operational efficiency. And as you know, Adam is one of our lean facilitators, but also now a lean trainer and a senior facilitator. So congratulations to Adam. We are proud to recognize him. This is a major milestone, and it shows that he is chopping. Oh, we didn't see that. You got to go larger. Chopping, there you go, through the inefficiencies with purpose. His work doesn't just improve the process, it breaks through wood, in this case, kind of soft wood. There you go.
Was wood at one point.
Yes. Of wood, of red tape with style. This recognition isn't just about the belt, however. It's about the effort behind it. From grappling, all right, with root causes to striking a variation with pinpoint accuracy, Adam's shown his continuous improvement is no match for his analytical skills. His project work is a true knockout, and we're lucky to have someone who can crane kick, problems into submission, while that was more like a roundhouse, but that's okay, while keeping his cool under pressure. Congratulations, Adam. Your Green Belt achievement is a hiya moment worth celebrating. Now, if we could have Adam up front, and the board will officially grant him his Green Belt.
I'm impressed.
They say we don't have any fun.
Thank you, guys. Oh, it's very much a surprise. I appreciate it. Hold on. All right. So we could probably,
The results of all this.
yeah, for sure. All right, we could probably spread the belt out now. Oh. All right. Oh, yep. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, and on 3, we're gonna do your best kick. Ready? Or you can do your chop with your other hand. Ready? You can all chop. Ready? 1, 2, 3, chop. Perfect. All right. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. I appreciate
You
it.
had too much downtime.
Wear like a Ninja Turtle?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Leonardo.
Okay. We're also available for children's parties, so you know.
Okay, we're out of that. We're actually on the consent agenda. Okay. Anything on the consent agenda, Bruce?
Nothing I've been told has been pulled.
Motion to approve the consent agenda needed.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Felber,
Second.
second by Commissioner Schubacher. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Announcements. Bruce.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. I'm actually going to ask Amanda to step up first, because if I tried to explain it, I would mess it up. We wanted to give you a brief update, and I'm sure you heard quite a bit yesterday at AMC, where we're at with the federal SNAP activities and some of the others. We've been holding off on doing our posting because it's literally changing daily. And what we finally decided is after today's briefing, we'll go ahead and post something and then note on it that it's subject to change or updating. But we have been fielding calls, just so you're aware. So Amanda, would you give us a quick update?
Yeah, good morning. So I think we're on the government shutdown day 21, and like Bruce said, we did get a flurry of emails Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all kind of saying different things last week from DCYF, Department of Youth children and families. And so the latest information I have is that county workers are to continue processing SNAP benefits. SNAP benefits, you'll know, are food stamps. And then also MFIB. MFIB is Minnesota Family Investment Program. It's Minnesota's version of the TANF program, the federal TANF program. So while we are to continue, last week's notification was that we were to stop processing applications, first on the 15th and on the 16th, because currently there are no dollars to award November benefits. The last communication we got is that we are to continue to process SNAP and MFIB benefits, but there's still no money for November benefits. And so that's the guidance that we're working on right now. WIC, state WIC actually did receive on Thursday or Friday dollars from tariff revenue, as President Trump promised. And so the state received $3 million in food funds and $1.3 million for administrative costs. And so currently WIC has enough money to continue issuing benefits probably through mid-November. So in HHS, we are still all systems go, but also well aware that SNAP and MFIB only have enough dollars to issue through the end of October. You'll also remember that nobody gets a SNAP or an MFIB check from Sherburne County, and so these dollars do come from the state. And so our workers are hard at work answering phone calls and processing eligibility. But in terms of who gives them their check, it's not county workers.
Mr. Chair, Amanda, can you say what is WIC?
I'm sorry, Women, Infants, and Children's, and so that's the program for moms and babies.
I just want to clarify for anybody
Apologies.
that was listening what the acronym means. Thank you.
Mr. Schumacher.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. So you're saying the president was able to fund all of those programs across all 50 states with the tariffs?
For WIC only, yeah.
WIC only, okay. So the tariffs sound like they're working when the government's not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bruce?
A couple other quick things. First of all, just a reminder, if you're interested, today at 1 o'clock is the National Association of Counties Central Regional Meeting. And if anybody doesn't have the information, just let me know. I'll forward it out to you again. Second of all, just a reminder also that if you're planning on coming to or going to the October 28th Nuclear Energy Alliance Forum, registration is still open for that. And that is the one that is being put on by the labor industries. So it's a little larger group, but it should be interesting for those who decide to attend that. And then just a reminder, as Keisha said, if you're, let us know what your plans are for December for the annual meeting of AMC so we can finalize those details. And I don't know, do you want to talk now about the basket? Go ahead and jump in.
I sent you an email at the end of the day yesterday just asking what you guys want to do for the annual basket. We've done the same theme for 5 to 6 years, and as Gary had pointed, when you go to businesses and ask for donations every year, sometimes, it'd be nice to change it up. So if you guys had any opposition to any of the themes on the list or had one specific, just let me know, and we'll get started on that so we can have it ready by the time you guys hit that conference.
Okay.
Anyone?
I said something.
Any theme anybody got?
Mr. Chairman, I had mentioned 50 pounds of potatoes.
Oh, there we go.
How come then you look at me?
The AMC staff mentioned they'd rather have their potatoes in liquid form.
Vodka?
What
I believe potatoes were used as a gift basket item, before I was here, so.
There is
Probably
one
10 years
Minnesota
ago or
potato
so.
vodka, but it's not from here. It's from
Not from here?
We'll think about it and get back to you.
All right, a couple other last things. First of all, just a letter coming around formally announcing our new executive director of the Great River Regional Library. And then you all received notice of our new executive director of the Minnesota Counties Insurance Trust. The annual meeting is coming up for that in December. Commissioner Danielowski is our representative to MCIT, so that will be good to know. And then finally, just a last note on calendar call. Make sure you take a look at everything we have listed for upcoming meetings. Other than that, I'll stand for any questions you might have.
did you have the?
Yeah, thank you. Wanted to take a moment, we didn't get a chance to do it at the beginning of the meeting, but I thought it was appropriate that we have a moment of silence for our law enforcement colleague from the city of St. Cloud, who unfortunately passed away in a traffic accident this last weekend. So if it's appropriate with the board, I think we should take a moment of silence for him. Thank you for your time.
You're all done? Moving on. Regular agenda, receive an initiative foundation update. Initiative, I'm gonna go out. You're Carl.
Yes, yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Happy to have a few minutes of your time this morning. Appreciate having a few minutes of your time. Just give a quick update on the foundation's activities and impacts here in Sherburne County. And just always like to start on that first page there down in the bottom right corner where it says economic impact. If you want to scroll down just a little, there you go, right there. So those numbers in that corner are the foundation's kind of what we call our legacy numbers that we track. Those are since 1986 here in Sherburne County. And you can see the total number of grants and dollar amount granted, number of scholarships, the loans, the jobs created and retained as a result of those loans, and the leverage from outside the area that was brought in as a result of those loans, and then the number of county-based charitable funds that we manage here in Sherburne County. We continue to be really excited to partner with the Otto Bremer Trust to bring more grant dollars into the region. The last couple of years, they've asked us to be an intermediary grant maker for them because they feel like we're a little more boots on the ground and have a little bit better feel for what nonprofits we want to direct those dollars to. So they give those dollars to us and then we re-grant them. We're happy to have been able to kind of secure that relationship with them. And so there's been kind of an uptick in the number of grants and grant dollars being deployed across central Minnesota as we've got that attention of Otto Bremer. Similar relationships with some of our other larger foundations are kind of happening recently with Cargill Philanthropies, Target Foundation, and some others, folks that sometimes haven't done a lot of grant making in rural Minnesota, and we've been able to kind of build relationships with them. So we're happy to continue to serve in that capacity to kind of go outside of central Minnesota and find grant dollars and can capture them, bring them back in and put them to work here in central Minnesota. It's been a nice, strong bit of work for us, and we hope it will continue. Of course, you never really know what those larger foundations are going to do. Year to year, they change their minds and change their guidelines, but the last couple of years, we've been really pleased that those outside dollars we've been able to bring in, and we're optimistic that those relationships are going to continue. That revolving loan fund number, just always like to point out that we're primarily a gap financer. We don't do a lot of direct lending because we don't want to compete with local financial institutions. So typically those loans are the result of banks coming to us and saying, we have this great project, it's in, for whatever reason, maybe it's in a really rural community or it's a little bit high risk, but the financial institution will say, we don't want to carry all the risk for this loan. Will the Initiative Foundation come in, maybe with a couple of their partners, and help us push this across the finish line? And we're always happy to deploy our loan dollars in that way. And we deploy them, I would say if we do 10 loans, 9 of them would be to fill gaps in projects that otherwise wouldn't happen. Occasionally we do make some direct loans, but most of the time we serve as a gap financer. And then we track, again, the number of jobs created or retained as a result of those loans. Well, these numbers are since 1986, and I did bring with me just some more recent numbers just so you can see what's happened in the last year. In 2024, in Sherburne County alone, the foundation and those 9 charitable funds that are at work here in Sherburne County awarded 40 grants in the county for a total of $389,000. Lending in Sherburne County in 2024 was 11 loans, loaning $1 million, leveraging $7 million, and creating or retaining 56 jobs. So happy to see the progress of and the impact of those grants and those loans here in Sherburne County. We also have a strong nonprofit development program that we continue to operate. It's focused on building the capacity kind of the governance capacity of nonprofit organizations, fundraising, financial management, et cetera. That program served 12 nonprofits in Sherburne County and 7 nonprofit leaders in Sherburne County. So happy to see that program continue as well. Lots of great impacts there. Just a quick update on a few other initiatives and some grants that we have going on or will be happening in the upcoming year. We continue to work on helping form the Region 7W Development Commission. I know there's been a lot of partnership and a lot of work to get that across the finish line. We're happy to have really served as a convener and coordinator to help get that organized. I know we're working with stakeholders now, making sure all the local voices and concerns are heard, developing the leadership group, and finalizing those governing documents. I think if I remember right, that team is hoping to push that across the finish line soon, maybe by the end of the year, maybe early in 2026, but really optimistic that we're going to see that functioning real soon. We've been happy to be involved in that. It's been a pleasure to help be a part of that group. We also recently have launched an Enterprise Academy cohort serving Sherburne and Wright County. This is an entrepreneurship training program that puts entrepreneurs through a 12-week program of everything related to starting a business right, your business plan, your finances, your accounting, all these kinds of things. It's underway. It's the first cohort that we've done out in rural Minnesota before. And we're happy to be providing. We have 8 entrepreneurs participating in that program right now here in Sherburne and Wright County. I believe that cohort meets down in Monticello. So that's an exciting new thing that we're offering as well. Along with those things, we continue to work on access to affordable childcare. We have a full-time program officer out in community convening folks, trying to identify challenges, identify community-led solutions. We have seen some progress in some communities. Others continue to face challenges. We've been a part of lending to launch some new child care centers across the region, and so those are exciting and frustrating projects all at the same time, but just know we do have a program officer available to communities in the county if they wanted to do some convening and explore child care challenges, try and identify some solutions. We're happy to deploy that program officer as needed. We also have a program officer working for energy efficiency and community resiliency planning. Along the same lines, happy to convene community stakeholders and explore solutions, identify any challenges, look for grant dollars available, et cetera. That program officer is always available to serve communities as well. Feel free to give us a call and invite those folks down and put them to work in your county. We're happy to announce that we're relaunching our Thriving Communities program. This was a program that was around for many, many years. It essentially is a program to come into a community, gather community voices, leadership, stakeholders together, identify projects that community feels like would help that specific community thrive and grow, and then we deploy grant dollars and seek other external grant dollars to help advance those projects. It's a program we ran for many years, and then it kind of went away the last 7 or 8 years. It was extremely popular, and we're really proud to bring it back. We have 5 communities participating in it in 2025, and we hope to continue to grow it in 2026 and 2027, serving even more communities. Like I mentioned, we continue our nonprofit capacity building program and always encourage folks to spread the word. Those nonprofit trainings are generally free or very low cost, meaning $5 or $10 to cover lunch. We always encourage nonprofit leaders to look up our website and attend as many of our trainings as they can. We bring in those high-level professional consultants to help develop those governance skills. Would also remind everyone we continue to offer economic development grants to cities and counties as needed. Don't ever hesitate to reach out to us if there's ever some sort of a need that we could fill with a grant, and that we continue to that is my last one, economic development grants, sorry, excuse me. So continue to offer that grant making across the region. We're always happy to be here to serve. If you don't receive our IQ magazine, it's free. It's a great way to stay connected to us and the work we do. And like always, I want to say we're grateful for your support and the support the county offers to the foundation. Back on page 1 of that document, you can see there's an ROI number in the middle. We're happy to say that we go out and capture those outside dollars. For every dollar we collect from within Sherburne County, we're able to multiply that back into $7.23 of investment in forms of grants, scholarships, loans, et cetera. So happy to continue to do all that great work, and I'd love to take any questions you might have.
Questions? Rayanne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say thank you very much for your involvement and what it is that you bring to the table by having this partner us as a partner and relationship. You've done a lot of really good things over the years, and that return on investment is valuable to us. So thank you very much for all that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Happy to do the work.
Anyone else?
Carl, thanks. Dan is not with us today, but he wanted me to pass on his thanks for everything, and I forgot to greet you on his behalf earlier, so.
Absolutely. No trouble at all.
We're too busy hiding.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, you put up with our vaudeville show for a while, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys are a talented group.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks so much.
What you witnessed was not one of our strengths, though, probably.
Awesome. Thank you again.
You, Carl.
Thank you. Take care.
As Carl departs, I should note, Dan is at the state bonding tour. They're in Big Lake. The House of Representatives having their bonding tour. Representative Meekland said he would mention and keep on the forefront the interchange project, even though they're not going to go out to it. They're actually, the furthest they're going is Big Lake. So, but then we'll be following up on the 13th of November. We just got word that at Hennepin County Technical College, there'll be a presentation opportunity for us on our bonding projects. So that'll come up as well. And then also, I got an email here. I forgot to give a little more context for folks who didn't know about the passing of Officer Ryan Ebert. Officer Ebert was an 18-year veteran of the police department there and also an investigator in St. Cloud. So a little more context about that.
And he was a son of Elk River, so he grew up in Elk River as well.
Yeah, and it was a tough loss for the family and for that community up there.
All right, moving on. Number 2, receive an update from the Sherburne County Agricultural Society. Jenny, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. For those that don't know, my name is Jenny Axel, I'm the president of Sherburne County Agricultural Society and CEO of Sherburne County Fair. This year's fair was awesome, best fair we've had that I can remember in my 15 years on the board. The attendance was 17,248 people. We had 339 exhibitors with a total of 1,549 competitive exhibits entered into the fair, which is huge. There was 15 Sherburne County daycares with a total of 209 children that participated in Daycare Day this year. 129 excuse me, individuals attended our dance for individuals with special needs, and 647 seniors took advantage of free entry into the fair on Senior Day. We had 56 commercial vendors and 17 food concessionaires this year. Our carnival ticket sales were up. Beer sales were down a little, but I made the decision on Friday night to close early with the storms coming, and we got everybody out before the thunder hit, so perfect timing. We partnered with 14 nonprofits during the fair and 37 local businesses, which is the best we've had in years. We had 4 nonprofits benefit from the use of the fairgrounds during non-fair times, and we hosted 7 other nonprofits throughout the year for trainings and meetings and such. Okay, here's the big numbers. Non-fair board volunteers worked the fair a total of 756 hours and 32 minutes, which, according to the federal government, if we were to pay them, it would have been $26,312.38. The fair board volunteered a total of 6,155 hours physically on the fairgrounds. That's not counting the numerous hours on the phone, Zoom calls, taking classes, attending conventions. And if we were to have paid the fair board, it would have been $214,162.37, which the fair's whole budget isn't that much for the year, so that's huge. Our fair board this year has 4 members attending the International Association of Fairs and Expositions National Convention in Denver, where we will attend classes from everything on security to booking entertainment to contracts, to guest experience. I personally will be accepting 2 awards at this convention, not only for my work at the Sherburne County Fair, but for the fair industry in a whole. And we did get our economic impact study back that the county paid for. Interesting fact, the International Association of Fairs and Expositions did a United States-wide economic impact study on fairs. And it was found that in 1 year, more people attend fairs than attend NFL and Major League Baseball combined. So in 2024, the fairs, Sherburne County's fairs economic impact on local economy was $4.7 million and $165,000 in sales tax was generated. The fairgrounds year-round economic impact was $9 million and $319,000 in sales tax. So I will take any questions. And I do have a copy, Bruce, to send to you and Dan. I just got it last night.
Great. Mr.
Question?
Chair, I
Danielle?
just wanted to say, I know that a lot of volunteers make the fair happen every year, and a lot of hard work goes into that. We want to thank all the volunteers that are so dedicated to making that a success. And congratulations on those numbers for this year's fair.
Yeah, it was
Job well done.
And Mr. Chair, I sit in on the Fair Board meetings once a month, and it is impressive the amount of work that the volunteers do. The Fair Board, just the physical labor, the keeping the facilities up, dealing with all kinds of different folks coming in to use it for different reasons and wanting different things. So they do a nice job with that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Schumacher.
it was mentioned at the meeting yesterday that there are county boards that come to the county fair and do a board meeting there. Is there any room for us out there on a Tuesday? Hypothetically.
It's just, if there's an empty
We're
stall
looking
in
to
the barn,
increase
we'll be fine.
attendance, not decrease.
Yeah, we're looking, if we can get, well, anyway, to be determined if there's room for us to come on a Tuesday morning during the fair. Or
The fair runs Thursday through Sunday.
we'll move it to Thursday.
All right.
You know, meeting with corn dogs, I mean, it could be nice.
I can make that happen.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to reiterate, the board, the volunteers that are on the board, they have a passion. There is a passion for fairs, and they exhibit it just by what they do. I mean, I can't say enough because volunteers are hard to find these days, and dedicated volunteers are very hard to find. And I think you've got a really good group that are working right now. And hopefully,
Can't do what I do without.
you bet. You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a
Anyone else?
great deal.
Thanks, Jenny. Moving on. Consider to approve the acceptance of Lake Steward designation for 2 inlets at Badehaka Amaskuzagans Regional Park. How'd I do?
Very nice, Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Thanks for your time to present this item this morning. So we have for you to consider today accepting a Lake Steward designation from the Briggs Lake Chain Association Healthy Lakes Committee. And as a reminder, I have a map of 2 inlets before you on the board here. 2 inlets is nestled in between 4-lake chain known as the Briggs Lake Chain Association, which the water quality and shoreline management of the Briggs Lake Chain Association has been under the guidance of the Briggs Lake Chain Association Board and volunteers. Speaking of great, passionate volunteers, they've been the most active lake association in Sherburne County by far, as long as I can remember, which is about 26 years of working in Sherburne County. Really a wonderful model for what a group of passionate people can do. And so The Healthy Lakes Committee of the Briggs Lake Chain Association has taken on a new initiative in the last 12 months or so.
2 years.
2 years.
Started last summer.
And that is the Lake Steward designation. And Two Inlets, you can see, has the potential to positively or negatively impact water quality for Big Elk Lake in a profound way. It's potentially the biggest shoreland owner of the lake chain, because it encompasses a mile of shoreline. It also includes 2 stream bodies that flow from the upper 3 lakes, Lily Creek and the Elk River. So there's a lot of potential to impact water quality on Big Elk Lake. And the Healthy Lakes Committee has asked if the county would consider becoming a lake steward and receiving that designation and then posting the property publicly to promote awareness of water quality benefits. Because since Sherburne County has taken on the responsibility of caring for this landscape, the land use has changed from annually cultivated agriculture to native prairie restoration. Mowing along the shoreline has ceased, and native vegetation is restoring naturally along the shoreline, providing buffer and phenomenal habitat. So I have here with me today, representing the Briggs Lake Chain Association and the Healthy Lakes Committee, Ruth Thome, and I'm going to invite Ruth up to talk more about the designation. So, Ruth.
Thank you for having me here today. So Gina has given you a little bit of background information. The Lake Steward program started on Gull Lake a few years ago, and it's now a statewide program that's been administered by the Minnesota Lakes and Rivers Association. There are 58 lake associations that are currently involved, and the Briggs Lake Chain has been involved for the last 2 years. Last year, we awarded 15 properties, and this year, 5. There's twofold purpose to the Lake Steward program, and one is to recognize property owners for their efforts to be good stewards of the lake, and 2, to display Lake Steward signs on properties that exemplify healthy lake practices so that we can educate the public on what good lake stewardship looks like. All the lakes use the same app to evaluate properties for lake steward practices. So I met with Gina a few weeks ago to score the Two Inlets Park, which scored an A+, which was no surprise to me. The park is an excellent example of lake stewardship. You've planted native plants, removed invasive species, and protective native trees, shrubs, and plants that provide fish and wildlife habitat throughout the park, and along with all the wonderful native cultural collaboration that's taken place. We hope that you'll accept the Lake Steward Award on behalf of the Briggs Lake Chain Association and Minnesota Lakes and Rivers. And with your approval, we'd like to provide a sign for the entrance of the park and 2 signs for along the shoreline. We're thrilled to have this park on our chain of lakes, and we look forward to years of working together to maintain water quality on the lake. We also invite you to consider adding the award to future park publications, and I can provide you with logos for that if you choose to do that. Let me show you the beautiful signs. So this is what you would display so that as people arrive at the park, they recognize that the park is doing things to protect water quality. And then because you have a mile of shoreline, we thought that 2 along the shoreline would be appropriate, probably 1 by the actual inlet and, well, each inlet, whatever. Yeah, each inlet maybe, but that would be a decision you could make. And so what questions do you have for me?
Can we put them where the good fishing spots are, so we know?
Only you.
No, I'm just throwing it out there.
I do have a question, Mr. Chair. And maybe this can be for either of you. How would this potentially dovetail into the One Watershed program? And I'm just thinking of it from an education opportunity standpoint, because the signs themselves, I think, are fantastic. I'm wondering if we coordinated a little bit with Soil and Water to perhaps maybe below that have a QR code or something that could lead to potentially a website through either One Watershed or through Soil and Water that talks about, for visitors, the types of things that we're doing to maintain shoreline habitat and to keep water clean. You see what I'm trying to get at?
love that idea.
Is that an opportunity?
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Halls, for that question. I think there's a great opportunity to expand our coordination with the Soil and Water Conservation District and their One Watershed, One Plan work. I know they're very active with the Briggs Lake Chain Association as well. Both agencies are represented on our Parkland Development Committee for this park landscape, so we can talk about that at our November meeting. Yeah, thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, those signs are also at residents around the lakes too?
Yes. So we use this app that that's a statewide app that everybody's using, and we go out to different properties. There's 3 of us right now that are trained evaluators for our lake association, and we go out and evaluate properties, and then depending on the score, they earn a sign. And if their score doesn't meet the qualifications for the award, then we work with them to help them find grant money, if necessary, to do shoreline restoration or maybe to add native plants, and just give them information. And even those that are awarded the sign are also still given ideas for things that they can do to even go further in their lake stewardship efforts.
Yeah, because I really applaud Commissioner Hull's idea in regards to the QR code. That might be incorporated into the additional signs that are already out there at residents, just because I know the SWCD is heavily involved with the One Watershed Plan.
Well, and my thinking is at least, it wouldn't necessarily have to be part of the signs for the residents, but a separate QR code below on the signs, because we have public land.
Yep.
And we'll have visitors. It's an education opportunity, I think.
Absolutely. This is all about education, and that's one of the reasons we decided to join this initiative, because it's a way to help identify visually. They see this sign and they look at the property and they can see, in a lot of cases, they can see that these properties have really good native buffers, or they've added rain gardens, different things that they've done. And not every property looks the same, but it's helping to kind of retrain people for what a good shoreline looks like. And it doesn't mean mowing all the way to the shoreline, and it doesn't mean blowing your leaves into the water. Things, so things like that. That's anything that we can do to further educate people, so I love the idea of the QR code.
Mr. Chair, I'm happy we're getting involved in this. I mean, water, whether it's surface water or groundwater, is probably, I think, our most important resource. And it's really good to be part of helping to protect that.
Anyone else? No. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is this an item for action?
Yes.
So, yeah, just if you're willing, last time we were hoping to get a picture with the new signs with the commissioners. So I promise you, last time you have to get up today, so.
And then we need an action.
I don't have your
You don't believe me? Okay, so.
We need an action item on this?
Yeah, we should vote to accept and approve and then.
Need a motion.
come up.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to accept the designation of Lake Stewart for 2 Inlets Park as presented by the Healthy Lakes Committee of the Briggs Lakes Chain Association.
I'll second.
We have a partial motion by Commissioner Hulls
You
and a full.
can say the name. Say it.
Bidet Hedaka, Hamashkusas Agadan. Barely,
But
but
it's
it's out there. All right. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Another photo op.
Not if you say it 50 times.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm the prop. So a center person can hold a sign, and an end person can hold a sign.
I got one. I'll be on the
Yes,
end.
you've got one.
Okay, there we go. All right.
All right, we're good? We're in?
All right, Tina,
Are we
jump in.
centered?
Oh, sorry. We went away.
Are we centered?
Oh, just good.
Thanks. Oh, isn't that playing?
All right, karate chop, no, right, wrong picture.
No.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to see Gina's thing.
Okay.
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, you built that one, bro.
Yeah. We're not sure where it's taking off too, but it might be taking off. Thank you so much. All right. First off, I'll say that planning and zoning really likes to make an entrance. They parade in here like they're having, you know.
A party?
I'm not sure if Lynn is offering them something to stay in line or what, but they come in and they make their entrance, so.
And I've been waiting for what she is offering and still haven't received
It's been a
anything.
long time, huh?
Yes, and I think I will continue to wait, but that's okay.
Well, Hannah's a gymnast and a juggler, so.
Oh, add to our vaudeville act that we've got going here today.
Yes. Well,
Okay, number 4, receive a presentation on the department's groundwater mapping project.
yes, Mr. Chair, members of the board, I'd like to introduce Hannah Figueroa. She was hired as a part-time temp to come in and assist June, you know June Volker is our hydrogeologist, on taking decades worth of old groundwater data and putting it in a process that can be more efficiently and effectively used by the department. And so when Hannah was hired, I asked her about her last name. How do you pronounce your last name? And she said, figure it out. Well, that's what she did. She came in and she figured it out. And she's very talented. Today is her last day. She's going to be greatly missed in our department. So then,
All right, thanks, Dave. Are you gonna pull up a presentation, please? Okay. Oh, not that one. There we go. Beautiful. Yep, I'm June Volkers, hydrogeologist. I'll be talking today about the project that Hannah worked on this summer. It's we call it the Groundwater Data Project. She came in as we called her a seasonal groundwater mapping specialist, and as Dave mentioned, we have like decades of data that comes from like all these old PDF reports from like 1989, 2010, and we have old maps that are paper, and we just needed, well, I really needed help getting all this stuff organized, and so that's kind of where Hannah came in on this project. This first picture on this slide, I'm going to steal Dave's joke. I spent a lot of time with Dave, so I'm influenced by him. He says we're solid and we're stable, and occasionally there's landslides. I was at a landfill class in Madison earlier this year that the board that you approved me to go to, and all week the dining service, this is what they called us. So nobody disagreed. We just all kind of went with it just because we're like, well, otherwise we're gonna have to keep explaining that we're the landfill group, not the landslides group. So we're kind of a different group and we do different things. So go to the next slide, please. Oh, that's right, this thing. Forgot this thing. Oh, is it on?
here you go.
All right, thank you. Just a little bit of background information. There's 4 landfills in Sherburne County. 2 of them are open and 2 of them are closed. The open ones, Elk River Landfill and Vanco 2, Becker Ash and Vanco 1 are closed landfills. Just to give you an idea of like kind of what we were working on. This is just some screenshots of some of the wells that are on these landfills. These are all groundwater monitoring wells. So you can see it's a lot of data points. And a lot of data, going back to, decades of information. And then Hannah came with on a number of landfill inspections. She got to see, like me, go through my regular landfill inspection process, but also take part of some of these other events that were happening, like leachate jetting at Becker Ash Landfill, there was a soil boring investigation out of Vanco 2, and then we did some split sampling out at Elk River landfill at some of the wells. You can see some of these pictures are from that event. We were on our way to well 342. The grass was really tall, taller than all of us, and to get to 342, you had to go across that little bridge made out of electrical poles, and we all survived, so. Hannah also came to Elk River landfill, and she got to see a number of their operations. Ralph was generous to show us around and show us the gas well drilling out there. That was really cool. And then just explain some of the machinery. Hannah got to be familiar with the compactor and the dozer, and just learn things like, I mean, the different.
Drive it though, right?
No,
Okay. good.
no, she wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
No,
Next time.
no, because I don't know what would have happened, so.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just interesting things. I mean, learning about compactors. I mean, this compactor's new within this last year. It's more efficient than the Cat A36. It's got like a Fred Flintstone drums to compact the waste, rather than the Cat A36 has like 4 separate wheels, little spiky wheels. So just these little details that Hannah's kind of picked up and learned along the way. And then Ralph has always been helpful to explain some of these things. And it's just important for her to come out and to be able to have a connection to the data. I mean, it's one thing just to go through a report and extract information, but you really have to get out there and see how these things work in person and just get a feel for what it all really means. So, would you like to take over? So advances that slide. Yep.
I'm Hannah, and I had a great opportunity to work with June, Dave, and the rest of the team in getting out to all of these landfill inspections, because previously I thought you just, throw your trash in a hole and call it a day. So to see how these things operate were really nice to see how complex landfills are. And I got a better understanding of the importance of organizing the data and analyzing that landfill data effectively, which led me to Excel. So this is an original report document shown up there, and it was kind of difficult to navigate. So over my position, I took this data and just made a new version in Excel. In this version, it was not structured for easy comparison between multiple variables across wells. As you can see in this little clip, if you had to continuously update the data, it would take forever to scroll to the end and compare things. There's also have been many editors in this document, and that creates room for inconsistencies and errors and low confidence. To address these issues, I created a new Excel sheet that is not only user-friendly, but also structured in a way that allows for seamless comparisons and navigation between wells. The new format is also designed to be compatible with other data analysis software, making it easy to update and maintain over time. This approach ensures that the document remains reliable and adaptable to future data needs. Tools like GWSDAT and RStudio, among other software programs, are great at interpreting complex data sets such as those in the landfill reports. They allow users to process large amounts of information quickly, visualize these trends, and draw insights that you might not see in the raw data. By integrating this data analysis tool, or tools like these, we can make the data more accessible, ensuring that we can make informed decisions based on their clear and reliable insights. As well as we get a lot less time of like the manual analysis of this data. Hand it back over to you.
All right, thanks. And then we will continue to build off of Hannah's work that she's done. We will continue to extract data from the reports and move forward with kind of standardizing the format that we have this in. We have 4 different landfills, and they've all been handled by several different people over the years and inputted in their format, and we want kind of one way and streamline everything. MPCA, they use ECIS, Environmental Quality Information System. They use that to store and manage their data, so we kind of have sort of like our version, and it could easily be adaptable to that ECIS format as well. We will continue to use GWSStat to analyze trends in the monitoring wells. We're really good at collecting data and amassing data, but to really use it, we really need to be able to analyze it. And with Hannah's work, we will continue to be able to do that. Pro-UCL is an EPA statistical software program. It's free, and we can also use that to compare the results that we get with GWSStat. And then ArcGIS Pro, we can use that to create shape files for that GWSStat. And also just ArcGIS is a pretty versatile program. We can use that to store some of our data as well. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it. This is a quote from Robert Swan. And this is just a progression of Vanco 1 from 1957 up to 2006 when they put on the final cap. With that, we thank you for the opportunity to speak today and for having Hannah here for this summer. And we'll take any questions or comments or.
Commissioner Schumacher.
Mr. Chairman, Hannah, thank you for coming and working with us in Sherburne County, and appreciate your fresh perspective and your experience. I'd be interested to hear a summary of what your thoughts are when you started and when you had said that you thought that this is how it was, and then when you've learned it, how would you be able to take that fresh perspective and give it to us so we can take that same idea and share it with others? Because a lot of people think exactly like what you said, and for us, we've been here so long that we already know, but the difference is how we deliver that message. And
So are you asking for like input on educational insights? Okay. So yeah, before I didn't know much about it. I mean, even driving by, I didn't know what it was. You see these big mounds now, and now I know what they are. But through this summer,
And I also don't want to put you on the spot. You can
No,
give us-
you're good.
Yep.
You're good.
You know what I mean.
I knew the questions were coming. I think I learned the most through going in person and seeing these inspections and knowing that there are different, machinery that's involved and people that are involved, and everyone kind of has to give 110% into these things, because if they don't, let's get it happen, So I kind of had a new love for landfills after this position, and
Uh-oh.
I know.
Once you're in the business, you're never gonna go out.
I know, I'm gonna be stuck here, but I say if you're looking for educational opportunities, having visuals for me was a big thing, because I got to see so many different processes of how things work, and it was just really insightful. I hope that answers your question.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Danielowski.
Thank you. I appreciate your perspective, because we are always trying to figure out how do we educate the public in getting involved in recycling what you can, finding another way to keep something out of landfills. That's our goal, is to keep as much as we can out of these landfills so we can not fill them up any faster than necessary. And getting that message out to the public is always a challenge, but yet the importance of it, I think, is huge when you see over time, and the amount of waste that is only growing in generating. And so from a perspective of younger people as well, what is it that would resonate with you in these education opportunities and get you engaged in that recycling to keep things out of the landfill as much as possible?
Yeah, I guess to kind of go off of that, before I always thought, landfills are dirty and whatever, but for the public outreach way, I think that it would be kind of cool to see some sort of kind of one-day tour in landfill type thing, if that's possible. But I do believe that, pushing to the public that landfills are very important, I think is a good thing. So.
Thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Halls.
So this is very timely. We had our District 5 meeting yesterday, and we voted on our top 5 initiatives out of our district. Now they have to be voted on by the rest of the counties. But one of the top 5 initiatives was solid waste and management of solid waste, management of recycling programs, how we're going to manage all of the issues that we're seeing with some of the changes at the legislature. So this will, assuming this moves forward, this will also be a legislative priority for us as well. So I appreciate you bringing your experience of the summer to us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Right, I promised you no photos, but Lynn, your whole staff's here, so can we get a picture with Hannah at the podium so she has a keepsake?
I was going to say. Bruce?
He's on a roll with this.
He's on a roll with the cameras.
I got a camera. They taught me how to use it. You guys want to do it?
No, I was gonna say thanks to Hannah for coming and working here. Yeah. And she's done a great job, and I really
Well, I'll
appreciate it.
come down, we'll do it.
Hopefully, you'll get to come back someday.
Yeah.
Do it correctly.
I think landfill has now become a passion.
Come on, guys. Come on, Dave.
Well, this is Hannah's
Oh,
moment.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, then, circle it.
Make sure she's in front.
So you had to, Greg, you had to have me break my promise. Good thing I didn't bet. Oh, I got the. All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And perfect. Congratulations.
I hope so.
Good job. Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. Thanks for listening to me.
Come back, find a job for you.
I will.
All right.
I'll be interested.
It's gonna be modern times, right, yeah. And to build on it. Are you sure you can bring that off the wall?
You know where the
Give a guy a camera, that's what happens.
scary part.
Your little tours, I like those. Yeah. I'll have to come back.
I like how over time it shows.
Yeah, I always tell my old grad school group, I said, I promise I will be a bad penny. I'll keep showing up. You're not going to get rid of me.
All right, moving on to number 5. Consider approval of split sampling of groundwater monitoring wells at the Vonco closed landfill. Dave Lucas and June. Hi, June. You're back.
I'm back. I never left.
She's that bad penny.
I am a bad penny. Good morning, everybody. June Volkers, hydrogeologist. This is about requesting approval of split sampling out at Vonco 1. Vonco 1 landfill. There's a handful of wells out there that we want to split sample for the fall monitoring event. It will not exceed $11,200, and we will use the solid waste surcharge monies for this event. We will be testing for the normal constituents that the landfill samples for, like the metals and the VOCs and all the other regular parameters for groundwater. But for this round, we want to add PFAS group, the standard list, to this event. So that's kind of the increased cost of the split sampling.
Well, I would move we approve it. I mean, it's a good, I'll look for a second.
I'll second your motion.
Okay.
Moved by Commissioner Felber, second by Commissioner Halls. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, catch me up on split sampling. What's the term, or why is it called split? I don't get that.
So it's a split sample when the technician from the landfill, like they usually contract another third party to do their sampling, and then we get our consultant to come in and they both sample the same well at the same time using the same pump. And it's just like, okay, they fill their little bottle and then we fill our bottle. And so it should be, the same result.
Yeah, so the results should align.
Right, correct. But it's just a good way to kind of double check data and just to do this once in a while to have, confidence in the data. Then they don't do PFAS, but we wanted to do that for this round, just because that's kind of going to come down the pipeline for everybody is the PFAS compounds and having to regulate those. So this is NPCA, they did a number of landfills back in 2023. They sampled for PFAS. So it's, that data is out there, and we just kind of want to have more information about it.
So they're sampling it and we're sampling it, we're just like doubling up on the testing?
Basically, yeah, but we're doing PFAS, and yeah, they opted not to for this round.
So there's two pieces to it. One, it's to verify laboratories. So double check each laboratory. The other is we're adding a test.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Mr. Chair, it is our job to make sure that we're protecting all of the wells that are around these closed landfills from any possible result that could come of a closed landfill. So I think that this is a very good process just to verify and check. And I think the PFAS is something that we need to be checking for now too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chair, one of the things I've learned going to landfills and both active and closed is that this water sampling particularly from the old unlined landfills is so important to figure out exactly what's coming out of them. And PFAS is such a big deal. We were just out at the Anoka landfill. It's been closed for 30-some years. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's closed. It's still there, but I mean, active water sampling, active gas management, it's still all part of it. So we just have to keep up on these things. They're not going to go away for, let's see, PFAS ever. So yeah, it's going to be, these are management plans and these are things we need to stay on top of. So it's a really good idea that we are staying well on top of it before I guess it can't sneak up on us. We know it's there, so we're just going to make sure that we keep an idea of exactly what the extent of any sort of plumes or any sort of contamination is out of those fills.
And I think we have to remember that this landfill was started in 1957.
Oh yeah.
So it is an unlined landfill.
Yeah, well, I know.
The gravel mine was in 1957, and they started landfilling in 1993.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, and it's not that I don't agree with the testing. Double testing seems a little redundant to me, but a 1 of 5.
Commissioner Halls.
I understand your concern. I would say that just from a statistical sampling size, it's not something we do every time, but it's not a bad practice to occasionally have a secondary lab to check the results, because occasionally you can run into a situation where you run into a statistical issue. So as long as we're not doing it every time, and in this case we're doing it as a sample size, I think that's fine.
Plus the money is coming from what we do collect to provide this protection for the residents that have wells around these closed landfills.
Anyone else? I need a motion.
I did.
Yeah, we did. In a second. We're in discussion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
It gets so confusing.
Just a quick follow-on. June, was this the data that resulted in our letters, or was that a different sampling?
That was a different sampling event. That was the
Okay.
the previous, the letters were for the residential well samples.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, moving on.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, June. Consider approval of the amendment of the score budget. Dave Lucas and Maureen. Dave, you're not standing very much, so.
No, I'm not, and that's okay.
All right.
Good morning, Mr.
Morning,
Chair,
Maureen.
members of the board, Maureen Mozak, Planning and Zoning. So the department is requesting board approval of an amendment to the score line item budget to allow for an additional grant program. And the funding line item is for $1,500 for a new vape disposal program. The new program is a partnership between HHS and Department and Planning and Zoning to provide safe collection and disposal of vaping devices that are confiscated in the county schools. We have some HHS that are going to give us some background on the program.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. I'm here presenting on behalf of Alicia Maxwell, who was unable to make it, but they sent out a survey through the Sherburne County Substance Use Prevention Coalition back in January 2023 to the administrators and the SROs at each of the schools, asking how many vapes they're taking in and when they're confiscating them, and then what they're doing with them. They heard back from 14 administrators and 7 SROs. The SROs often cover multiple different schools, and the overwhelming information they received was they are definitely confiscating vapes, but they often don't know what to do with them. Many of them are just handing them off to the SRO, and the SRO didn't know what to do. Some are throwing them into a drawer, and others are throwing them into the trash, and we know that these are hazardous waste, and they have the ability to also ignite as well. And so you want to tell more about the SCORE program?
So the funding for part of the vape disposal program, the ammunition boxes that they will be giving out to each of the schools came from the Drug-Free Communities grant, and so that covered the disposal portion, or the boxes portion of it. So, and the baggies, gloves, and safety glasses for each of the schools will be receiving those. So the SCORE funding will provide for this confiscated devices disposal cost at Stearns Household Hazardous Waste Facility and the purchase of new supplies as needed. The Solid Waste Advisory Committee reviewed the proposed amendment to the SCORE budget on the October 1st meeting and recommends approval. Are there any questions for either of us?
One I have. What are the conscientious users of vapes that don't get them confiscated? How are they disposing of them?
They are, they can bring them to the Stearns County Household Hazardous Waste Facility, and they will just take them there, but most times that's probably not happening right now. So that's something that
It's landfill or garbage?
Well, it shouldn't go there, but that's probably what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So we will be, in the future, looking to do something with that as well.
Well, I would move to approve.
We have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Danielowski. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We had this discussion at our committee, and some of those same questions came up. Vapes have been around now for a while, but we're just starting to learn more and more about the hazards of them. And so in education, we're going to continue to educate. This is a start in regards to keeping them out of the landfills when they're confiscated in the schools, but definitely need the education to the public as well, that if you're using vaping devices, that to be a good steward of what your product is that you're throwing away to keep them out of our landfills. So it's a work in progress, and this is a start.
Commissioner Schumacher? Nope. Just going to shake your head. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Receive and review and accept the auditor's monthly report for September 25. Good morning, Lorraine.
Good morning, Commissioners. And for June, there are no bad pennies. There's only good ones, and every penny counts. Trust me, our department knows.
Fair point. Fair point.
Fair point, I like it.
Okay, Enclosed in your packet was our September trial balance, prepared by Accounting Manager Sherlyn Kapsner. This report includes ARPA funds of $1,275,964.30, and the Recorder's Compliance Fund of $328,590. Also included in there was your 3-page investment report prepared by Finance Officer Brenda Davis. And thank you for doing the report last month for me while I was out. Investment earnings are above budget by $1,013,970.29 at month end. We are ahead of last year by $421,624.93 from last year. Your budget to actual report is also in your packet, and that is in modified accrual. I just wanted to update you on the proposed tax notices and the meetings for the truth in taxation. Bonnie Jacobs, our property tax manager, is working on those. We are in the process of finalizing those rates and getting proofs from Prima Data, who is going to be processing and mailing those out for us. We do expect that they'll go out by mid-November. We just have a lot of proofing and need to make sure that everything on there is proper before it goes. The last 2 weeks, of course, in our office have been very, very busy with second half collections for property tax. Very heavy mail still. We are working on that. We did close period 2 yesterday, and today are working on that first settlement out to the 50% settlement out to the school districts. You will get a lot more information on that in next month's board packet. Do you have
Mr.
any?
Chair?
Commissioner Danielowski.
Thank you for that update, Lorraine. Are we going to be, or have we decided what the language is going to be that's going to go out with the proposed property tax notice in regards to why some of the preliminary levy is?
I did work with Bruce,
Okay.
and we do have a statement in there showing that the 1.48%, I'm not sure.
1.8, but yeah.
That was from unfunded mandates from the state. So we did update that wording to show that,
Okay,
as you had requested.
and will the general public understand, we get in our own bubble and we understand what some of these things are? Will that language resonate?
I think the
them?
way it was put together, it will make sense to people.
We also have the one-page budget, what do you call that, insert,
Yes.
that we can look at, and then Lorraine and I are still looking at the actual tax statement. So there's
So
more to come.
Nothing is finalized yet. Like I said, we're still working on proofs and making sure
Right.
that the rates are correct and coming through that way, so.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we didn't get caught up in our own language that.
I just want to second that. We throw around the term unfunded mandates all the time, and the general public has no idea what that means. And so I think we need to be creative in how we present that, because at the end of the day, it is state law that's written that counties are required to abide by, that the state has provided no money to do.
And I think that's an easy way to say it.
Yeah. So we need to, I think we need to rethink how we say unfunded mandates. That's all.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Schumacher.
off topic, but still the same, we're going to take the same information that's getting put together here, put it in the newsletter that gets sent out in the, right?
Yeah, we're going to be,
Same
yes. So there'll be an article, Dan, in the next newsletter, but then.
It's online.
Yeah, it's online,
be
just
online.
remember. And then I think, though, you can have a second thought about it as we get into next year, because next year's an election year, so usually we kind of dial back things that might be considered too aggressive or partisan in those newsletters. But the December one has it in it, yes.
Which is, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Anything else, Lorraine?
I believe we need to have approval.
Need approval.
Motion. Need a motion to approve, receive, and review accept the auditor treasurer's monthly report for September 2025.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Schumacher, second by Commissioner Felber. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, consider approval of the 26 opioid program budget and gap funding request from AVO Village, St. Cloud. You're definitely not Bruce. That's what my
I'm not.
agenda
I'll just be supporting this. Good morning.
So annually, under board direction, annually, we meet as an opioid program committee and review what the opioid funds are looking like and then what you do with them. We completed that last week, so we're presenting to you next year's proposed use of the opioid funds. And then as it relates to a specific project, we'll highlight that today as well. That project also went to the EDA last week, and I'll give you an update on that as well. So part one is the opioid funding, and then we'll dovetail to the other one.
All right, so just for some context, I think it's been a little bit since we've given a formal update, but there's additional information on the Attorney General's website that you can link in the document here to see the actual results and kind of the funding over time and a little bit of the historical context. Sherburne County has been anticipated to have $4.6 million over the extent of the time period, which is 18 years, and so I think we're in year 3 or 4 now. We were front-loaded by many of the funding streams, and so our actual payments to date are $1.7 million, so we've gotten in quite a bit already in the first 3 years. Our funds right now are about $1.3 million that the Auditor Treasurer's Office has been tracking for us. And then there's additional information in the Memorandum of Understanding about what the funds can be used for, and Exhibit A kind of goes into depth. But really it's around prevention, treatment, recovery, harm reduction, research, and training. So pretty broad in the uses. So currently, we have been funding the priorities listed here. There's 5 of them. The first one is just making sure that Narcan is available to our law enforcement and first responders. The amount that we've had allocated hasn't been used to the full extent because they've had other sources to get those supplies, but we do have a little bit of a reserve there in case they should need. The second one is to really sustain the Substance Use Prevention Coalition, and I will talk about this more next month, but they're an actual award-winning SUPS coalition as of this month. So some fun things there, really making some great progress. And then there are 2 partial social workers that have been funded, termed the early intervention social workers, and they've been doing work with families and clients who have been affected or at risk for substance use and abuse. And then 4th are co-responders, of which we have 1 more now. Roy has given some great updates over the years and has an extensive list of data, and I'm sure we'll see some of that. We are required to report on all of these activities in March of every year, so we'll be gathering all that up here at the end of the year. And then the last is just some administrative costs for the implementation of the grant dollars. So currently, those funding proposals that we've been funding cost just a little under $400,000. The majority is obviously in salaries for those staff, but there's also some in supplies and contracts and others. So that's been for mainly for the SUPS Coalition. So billboards, training, youth trainings, website management, and some of those things there. And I think I'm handing it over to Bruce to talk a bit about Avivo.
First, we should ask if there's any questions on the agenda, or the budget, sorry. The one thing we should note is did you highlight the little bit use of the opioid funds for SUP? Again, it's a slight increase from previous years, like about $12,000. Did I get that number right?
I believe so. I think mainly when we first talked about SUPS, it was in the sheriff's office, and so there had been the Drug Freeze Community Grant, which had funded her. When she moved into HHS, into public health, we were able to support part of her work with a SHIP grant for tobacco, so she's got some braided funds supporting the coalition at this point. So I think that's part of the changes there.
Correct. So again, we've been exceptionally conservative with the opioid funds, and part of the reason is that it's been, I guess I'd use the word volatile, the receipt of those funds. There's been settlements, and then after that, there's been litigation. It's gone all the way up to, I believe, to the Supreme Court, hasn't it, Don? And so we've had to kind of wait and see, just to make sure the funds are there. The good news is we have a very significant reserve based upon that, and we're only drawing down this annual amount of, 300 and some thousand. So we've been fairly conservative. The other thing that's different than other counties is we've been typically using it for in-house only. Some other counties have been choosing to use it as grant funding for outside agencies. But given the difficulty we saw with that, even with CARES and with before that, or after that ARPA funding, we've kept it more for in-house operations. That being said, there are sufficient funds. So what is proposed today is to make some of those funds available to the Avivo Village in St. Cloud, which you're all aware of. You've discussed it before. It is a 48-bed homeless facility based upon a model that's been highly successful. The nonprofit has been able to leverage an exceptionally large amount of state funding for both capital and operations. City of St. Cloud is in for 1.3 million. And then there was a capital funding gap that was requested that we consider supporting with our available funds. Originally, we talked about $50,000, which would probably come from the SAHA account, which is specifically state designated money that actually designates for homeless facilities. The Stearns County Board did $165,000. The recommendation was we do 100 and then asked Benton for 50. So to make that up, we looked at using of the opioid funds. What I'll tell you again is on that conservative ethic, we really didn't want to fund operations because that's ongoing and annual. And so instead, we worked on a process where we can support the capital activities. In this particular case, we cannot use opioid funds for capital, but we can use a limited amount, recommended as $50,000, to help offset operations for the nonprofit, which allows them then to use it for capital. So fixed amount, fixed years, done. The other thought that we had in bringing this to the board was that just giving money away seems like always a little bit difficult. So we would rather structure this as a performance award. In the case of the funds, it would be as a forgivable loan so that if they construct the facility, which is under construction, and they operate for 10 years, then it's a forgivable loan. If they fall and go on belly under, then we would be a creditor to claw back some of those funds since they are public funds. So that was the original thinking, was $50,000 from the opioid funding reserves and then $50,000 from the SAHA funding reserves. However, at the EDA last week, there was concern that the SAHA funds, even though they're specifically authorized for use of homeless facilities, was that with only 300 in reserves, that might be a bigger bite. And so the recommendation was that we would front load that amount from the SAHA fund, but that we would find a way to backfill that 50,000. And so I've talked to Amanda subsequent to this, and what we'll do is in future years, we will, instead of drawing 50,000 of the SAHA funds, or half of the funds for Amanda's department, she'll take a few more of the opioid dollars because she is doing operations with that. That will allow us in 5 years then to pay back that 50,000 to the SAHA fund. So that would be the recommendation. I won't go into the details on Avivo since you've seen it. Brad has testified on it and was at the groundbreaking, but answer any questions the board may have. Otherwise, we would recommend approving the opioid budget and the structure for Avivo, and then Dan and Don can get to work on the appropriate documents to be used for that forgivable loan.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Schumacher. You have it in one motion? You want two separate ones, or is it combined?
Either way.
Okay, yep, that was my question.
Mr. Chair, and just for a little color on the discussions at the EDA, it was my concern on using the SAHA funds from the EDA, and it's primarily because I understand that it is a designated use of that capital. By the same token, the EDA has a very small budget, and I felt it was appropriate for us to find a way through HHS to replenish that, so that EDA doesn't take a hit. Because while it seems like I mean, every dollar counts, but it's a much bigger chunk of the EDA budget than it is of the HHS budget. I absolutely support the program. I just wanted to make sure we were able to backfill to the EDA.
And I should note, Stearns is using, all of their 165 is coming from their Saha allocation. So, Commissioner Hulse is correct. It's an authorized use, but where we've specifically done a housing trust fund, and you've already divided that to be really respectful of that, that's what we would follow. The request from Benton County would more likely probably fall on the opioid funds. So Benton might use opioid, Stearns is using Saha, we've got the mix of the two.
I need a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the 2026 opiate program budget with the gap funding for Avivo Village and St. Cloud through the use of statewide affordable housing aid and county opioid funding, backfilling the subsidized SAHA funds as feasible.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Danielowski. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Nicole / Bruce.
Everyone. Okay.
An update on potential United States Postal Service service charge changes in Becker and Big Lake.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. This is a request coming from Commissioner Felber to just have a further discussion and update on that. Attached is the letter that did go out from the board chair as per board direction. The dynamic that's changed, at least, and you'll see it in the letter, is there has been some conversation between the two cities that a less desirable position than having two separate fully functioning post offices, but more desirable than having none, might be a co-location of a single facility serving both communities. So you'll note that in the letter. That was a late addition as of last week. But other than that, I think the concerns are still as they were presented a month ago. So with that, I'll turn over to Commissioner Felber for his thoughts.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we put this back on the agenda, that we have so that people know that we're working on it. It's a big concern for a lot of people. It is a big concern for everyone, but it's just, it's not getting very far with the Postal Service, but I wanted to let people know and get our letter on the record that we're sending out. That's probably the main issue here,
And Mr. Chair,
or objective.
I think they've also, I want to say the last day of service for Becker in its existing facility was October 24th, I think. I remember that date.
It'll be close.
I thought it was the 31st, the end of the month, but.
Okay, so that's coming up for Becker, but the mayor was able to come to an agreement with the Postal Service that they can put PO boxes.
Yep.
And they're gonna put them in the parking lot at the community center.
Yep.
And so that is a small opportunity to at least maintain PO boxes in the community of Becker without having to go to Monticello or possibly Big Lake. So I think that that's a small plus, but I agree. We need to figure out how these two communities that are continuing to grow, and they have substantial between their townships and, I mean, we might as well say the 55308 zip code and the 55309 zip code has large service area and people that are on those services. So we need to keep fighting to get these post offices, their facilities.
And I'm hopeful that on Thursday's call with Congressman Emmer's staff that'll be raised again, and we'll get an update, since that's a direct conduit from the congressman to the federal office, to the Federal Postal Service.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Hulse.
I do think that it would be helpful to understand the economics. This is a contentious situation, I understand that, but I'd also like to understand the economics, because I think this is a situation where everybody wants to have a post office in their community, but we also have a post office that's not that it loses money every year. And so I would be interested, I mean, I think we have to have some creative solutions, and I think there's some middle ground to find, but I would just like to understand the big picture. So it might be a good workshop to have at some point.
Might be a challenge to get that since it's really not in our wheelhouse, but I can make some calls and see. You know, it's,
Yeah, the only reason I'm asking is if we're gonna step in and write further letters and those sort of things, I just,
yeah, I mean, a letter of
wanna
support is one
understand it,
thing,
right?
but, yeah, I mean, we can see. I think it might be there, I know there's a Becker community meeting Thursday night that either Dan or I'll be at, so maybe I can find out more there. And I'm wondering what the postmasters would say if we say, hey, we want you to come brief the county board, because they don't really deal with us.
Or if there's publicly available reports.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is obviously an economic situation here, and we were discussing in the bit, Commissioner Danielowski and I, about it, that, you know, what you're seeing here is cost cutting. It's just leases. And,
Well, I agree with you in finding out the economics of it, because I know the Mayor Colbinger, he's already traveling northern Minnesota and finding different postal zip codes that have less population. Well, you have to look no farther than Clear Lake.
Yeah.
I mean, Clear Lake's only got 660 people, it's got a post office. Clearwater's got 2,500 people, it's got a post office. Becker and Big Lake combined have 3 times that amount of people, and they're not gonna have post office? It doesn't make any sense at all, but the economics would be good to understand, but I don't think they're gonna be good.
Fair enough.
Here's the
Well,
fence.
and one of the things too, like I've noticed, the amount of activity, at least in the Big Lake Post Office, the window line is quite long. And the amount of PO boxes, I don't think there's an available PO box in that post office. And so this is an economic driver of any community in regards to having a post office. It just plain is an economic driver. It means something to the residents. It means something to the businesses that make it easier for them to do their daily business and get their daily information. And of course, their bills.
In Big Lake, they've actually closed some of the PO boxes already. I was gonna get one back that I used to have, and I can't, it's taken, a whole series of them was taken completely out of, I mean, they are beginning the process of closing that down. They're not renting any more of those PO boxes.
I will say, Mr. Chairman, all, all positive to Mayor Mark. He's doing a fantastic job from Becker in getting the message out and delivering it for the residents and standing up for where it is. And so for us to just back him up and support him and keep cheering him on, it makes a difference. And so, whether he's watching this or someone else in Becker, the mayor's doing a heck of a stand-up job and getting out there and delivering the message and defending the community. So, I mean, on the east side, we hear it.
Yep.
And I think we have to recognize that if this is kind of a trend that they're gonna start reducing, that's not a good trend that any of us wanna see
No.
happening, because right now it's these 2 communities, tomorrow could be your community. Yeah.
All right.
Yep. That's about that. All right.
We're moving on to commissioner reports. Greg Felber gets to go first.
Okay, all righty, let's go here. Had it open here just a second ago.
Once he's done, the rest of us won't have to say anything because it'll all be covered.
Maybe. Let's see here. Started out this with the MESB, Metropolitan Emergency Services Board. That whole meeting was just really about changing our lobbyist, and the contract was awarded to Poole Haas, which I'm really excited. I think they'll do a fantastic job. The Minnesota Intercounty Association, there was a lengthy discussion of legislative priorities, which I won't go into, but a lot of them are similar to what's coming out of AMC and match with what we have. There were a couple that we did not approve, and we went on from there. Then I went to the Central Minnesota Jobs and Trainings Joint Powers. Things are improving there. They got a clean, unmodified audit, which is great. Been approved now 100% by deed. We had a nice presentation from the Repurpose Educator presentation. Repurpose Educators, it's a subsidiary of DW companies, but they do training for companies that are looking to improve their company culture and it was a very interesting thing, and I'm gonna try to send that to some of our people here to see if there's any of their stuff that we might want to use. Let's see. Get down, that was a very long meeting, so I got a lot of notes. Then we had a meeting with Carly Eaton from Wisconsin, from the Blue-Green Alliance. That was through the Energy Transition Advisory Council. They're trying to get an energy transition policy written in the state of Wisconsin. They don't have one now. So we talked about some of the pratfalls that we've had here and some of the positive things, and hopefully they can get something done in Wisconsin. I went on a tour of the closed solid waste facility in Anoka County. It was a big one, 5.7 million yards. You know, that one's been closed since 1993, and they are still actively managing gases. They are still working on leachate containment, and there is the PFAS thing. I mean, you know, obviously when all these were built, certain chemicals weren't scary. I mean, I used to play with mercury in elementary school. It was just a neat metal to play with on your desk.
That explains a lot.
Huh? Yeah, it explains a lot. But, you know, things have changed, and now we have to keep on top of this stuff. The NACO Rural Action Committee, preservations on preserving rural areas in face of urban expansion, and then a reminder that Operation Greenlight for veterans, which I know we participate in here, is November 4th to the 11th. So keep that on your agenda. Sherburne County Association of Townships. The board was reelected, some great presentations. One thing that I did want to mention is that Representative Lawrence did mention cuts are likely to be the focus of next session, so we have to start thinking about what we're going to get funded is needs and not necessarily wants. So we're really going to have to focus on that, but that's kind of across the board. It fits in with the post office and everything else we're talking about. I did watch a webinar on China trade and local economies from the Council of Foreign Relations. It's a good webinar. It's available on the Council of Foreign Relations website, so if anyone wants to watch that. AMC District 5, we all went there yesterday. We covered a lot of stuff, and it just a lot of legislative priorities, and we really nailed down the top 5. We talked a little bit about the shotgun deer hunting zone change for the year. Budgets, everybody's talking about budgets. There's not going to be any money for a lot of stuff, but that's kind of where we're going from there. I did on the way back stopped into the East Central Solid Waste Commission landfill and more, because I'm not going to drive by a big landfill if I got time to stop and look at it. It's actually a really neat place. They got 160 operational acres. It's one I talked to the director over there, and I am going to go back and tour it a little bit more extensively, because it's very similar to what we've got going on in Elk River, in the fact that they are also waiting on an expansion permit. They do run a 1.6 megawatt gas plant that's been running on there since 2012, which is the way that they off-gas the vast majority of their methane from that site. It's a really interesting landfill, and I'll be going back there. Constituent issues, the levee people have been calling about, still working on the County Road 75 landing, which I think is not going to happen, any changes to that before winter. Some work on County Road 93. People were concerned about the new bus routes and the closing of the old route to St. Cloud, and that makes sense. There's not that many people riding it, but obviously it's a big issue for them. Several calls about the new tobacco ordinance, which will come back up later as we get into that. I did want to mention that we just approved the payment on less than half a mile of trail in town in Zimmerman at $338,000 for our next trail discussion. And then the other thing is that we've reached the point where we have bounties being put on ICE personnel in the United States of America from foreign cartels. That means that ICE is absolutely positively arresting the right people. When foreign interests try to execute the people that work for us on our behalf in the United States of America, that means we're arresting the right people. So if you're not angry about that, if you're still supporting the people who support fighting against ICE and working against our people who are actually working their ass off in the street, there is something seriously wrong with you. And that's about all I got.
He left us a little time. He did. So you're next.
Apparently I'm up. Okay, so since last board meeting, spent a little bit time on refining our strategic planning for the county, two different pillars. Also, we had our county connect meetings with the jail on Tuesday the 14th, and those went quite well. I had the fair board meeting on the 15th of this month. And really, it was similar to the presentation this morning, sort of a recap of how the fair went this year, and the other events that they have at the fairgrounds. They are moving forward with their strategic planning process. That's one thing we didn't bring up, but one of the requirements with the renewed lease was a completed strategic plan for the fair. So that's moving forward as well. We had the Economic Development Authority meeting on Thursday. We already talked about one of the main topics, which was around the budget on that particular piece. Then we had the District 5 meeting. I wanted to bring up a couple of things on the District 5 meeting. One is when we voted for our priorities within District 5, and that doesn't mean they'll be the total AMC priorities, but at least it's a good indication within that district. Our number one priority was system modernization. So that's actually, I think, going to be led by Matt Hilgart out of General Government, which I think is good because that's going to be that focus. Once again, we've got systems that have a copyright date of 1993 that the state mandates that our people use, and it's just an unacceptable work environment for the state to require our people to use systems that are outdated by 30 years. It's insane. But two other legislative priorities were around issues with SNAP and the requirements there, and then also with the Act. So those are helpful. Solid waste, as I mentioned earlier, came up as a top priority because of changes in federal or in state law around trash to energy systems and those sort of things. So we're going to continue to focus on those to try to minimize what goes into the landfills. And then for us, I'm trying to remember, what was the fifth priority?
It was mental health.
Mental health, which kind of ties all this stuff together. For us, we specifically brought up the fact that we are pushing forward on raising the nuclear moratorium. I think it would be helpful if we came up with a one-pager of talking points that we could have access to, and we've got some pretty creative people that can come up with that, and also do something in association with the Alliance perhaps, but maybe Sherburneize it a bit and have it for us to hand out and talk to, so our messaging is the same when we're talking to legislators or the public.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've already had a few counties contact us about the letter that went out with the resolution.
Did you email those out to all the county administrators?
Sent out, Keisha did. So they didn't email, they went out by mail.
They went out to every county minus us and Itasca because Itasca's already.
Okay, perfect.
All 85. We have a MACA listserv, which is the county administrators. I'm going to put it on there too, and then do an FAQ, because somebody asked, like, well, what does it cost a year? Nothing. But, we didn't think about putting that in the letter because it doesn't cost anything. So, yeah, I think that's a good idea. There's a nice one-page handout from the Nuclear Alliance too. I'll send out for you to look at.
Okay.
But talking points will follow. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful. The other piece that Commissioner Felber brought up, there's a lot of confusion on what's going on with the shotgun change. I think it would be helpful for us to either have something.
Yeah, we've got a workshop I think we were going to do in Q1, since it doesn't take effect until next year and next fall. So that, at least when it buzzed up, everybody's like, well, what's going on? But we should definitely have it on for a workshop for you guys.
Well, we might want to throw something on the website because there's enough confusion out there that some of the public think it's in effect now.
Right.
So I think we need to just get some clarification out to the public on that.
Yeah.
And that's it for me.
Commissioner Danielowski, yep. We're gonna go long, short, long here.
Okay, there we go.
I thought I was short this time.
Real long.
And no hair?
Yeah.
Okay. October 8th, attended the Northland Reliability Project groundbreaking ceremony that was up by the History Center. That project is really going to do a lot to help transfer the power from our area and out to the other areas that need it. It was attended by a lot of people, and they've already started, but this was their groundbreaking. Also attended by Zoom the NACO Community Workforce Development Committee meeting. Just a lot of updates across the country, and like I've always said, it's amazing how what we're dealing with here seems to be exactly what the whole country is dealing with as well. We're all in situations together and working together to try to figure out how to get through them. Also attended the Big Lake Township meeting that evening. On the 9th, attended the APO meeting. We had a really good update from Bill from the St. Cloud Airport. I think the whole APO group which is the St. Cloud Area Planning Organization, of which we are a member of because Benton, Sherburne, and Stearns share that planning area. And we had a lot, I mean, those guys walked out knowing way more than they ever thought that they would know about an airport. And then also on the 11th, I served at our local veterans dinner, saying thank you to our veterans for their service. That was a good turnout, served 120 veterans. And then on the 14th, attended our County Community Connect meeting in the Maple Room, and basically just going over what was talked about in regards to administration updates through economic development, the North Star update, major capital projects, new county programs, we're going to do an employee engagement survey and asking everybody to please participate when that survey comes out, because that's what helps us provide for the needs that you see as important in our workforce. And also staff communication, weekly announcements, asking everybody to please open those announcements so you stay on top of whatever is going on in the county. And then also the human resources update for open enrollment, which will be October 28th through November 7th, and updated any benefit changes. Also did a discussion on the Minnesota Paid and Family Leave Act that is going into effect, and how it works and what the requirements are to access it. And then also had a presentation from our Well at Work clinic that's on the second floor here at the Government Center for the employees to take advantage of in what some of their healthcare needs will be or are. Then also attended on the 15th, as Commissioner Felber referred to, the SCAT, the Sherburne County Area Township meeting, and he did a really good job of updating us. And it was a really good meeting. We had a lot of good conversation, a lot of good department updates and stuff, and I think that just really is a nice way to stay connected with our townships. And 16th, attended our EDA meeting, and Commissioner Hulls has already updated that one. I also did a County Connect meeting in the jail on the 16th as well. And I stopped by the United Way community event that was happening in Big Lake to serve the needs of those. They were giving away coats and shoes, and they had a lot of different organizations there. They had haircuts, just a lot of things to help people that are in need. And then on the 20th, I had attended the AMC District 5 Fall policy meeting, and Commissioner Hulls did a good update on that. Locally, I just want to say County Road 5 is paved. Both lanes are now open. There's a few cleanup things to do. The striping and stuff is yet to come. I know that everybody was very happy to see that done, and I think it was done on time. And I know for sure that Commissioner Felder is super happy that that is done. And also, they're starting the trail bridge crossing that will cross the Elk River there, in regards to not having pedestrians and stuff come up onto the bridge deck to get across to get back onto the trail. This will now be a bridge that will cross that river and provide that safe opportunity to get across that area without being on the roadway. And I also am receiving phone calls in regards to the shotgun change and the concern for it happening around populated areas, more densely housed areas and stuff. So I appreciate that we're gonna be looking at that in ways to figure that path forward. And I think that was it.
Commissioner Schumacher.
The Northland groundbreaking, what a great event that we all got to attend. I did my community connect meeting. I did a couple of those. I did mine with Jill and Emily, which turned out to be a very insightful meeting, which turned into a tour of the boiler that we just purchased a couple months ago. And they didn't, in Human Resources, want to go to see the boiler, but I wanted to see the boiler. Then once we got them in the building, they weren't going to leave because they kept asking good questions, which then leads the administrator to now have to give them a prize because they had asked so many good questions that we had to help them motivate them to leave, which was very good because I felt like it was a great meeting. Multiple visits to businesses, both on tobacco and then on transportation issues we're working around. The SCAT meeting, I was out on County Road 5 because I wanted to see the project because I was so excited for them to leave that project and come over to County Road 1, which they paved out yesterday in the rain. They were working, and they're working right now as I speak. The AMC meeting, attended the Zimmerman City Council and the Baldwin City meeting. I stopped yesterday to see the nano bubbler in Pine County on my way home. It was to be determined, a lot more work happening out there on Lake Pokegama than what I was anticipating, so it's still in the process. And then over the weekend, and I'm gonna use the word very carefully, observed the No Kings protest in Minneapolis. I was obviously misinterpreted what that was gonna be about, because I thought it was gonna be about Chuck Schumer being in office for as long as I've been alive, and the only king of politics is him, not the person who's been in the office for 10 months, the same amount of time that I have. But again, I observed the protest. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know how I follow that, except for the fact that these two stopped at a landfill and watched a nano bubbler on Monday. That's the diversification we've got. So I like being last because I think we doubled up on a lot of things, so I won't have to spend a lot of time. Northland reliability, we heard that, groundbreaking. That was way over the top, I felt. I was not expecting that when you've got two sitting public utilities commissioners there. State Senator Matthews was there. I think it was very well attended. I think it was Minnesota Power and Great River Energy put on a tremendous effort there. The shack retreat I did on the 8th and 9th, that was basically focused around tribal public health, which was, I thought was, they had a lot of interesting speakers and topics in regards to that. Bruce got to attend the Palmer Township meeting with me on the 13th. He got to experience what it's like in the Palmer Township world. County Connects meeting on the 14th. Rhiannon already touched on that. I did a tobacco ordinance update with the staff. A couple of them, we got together and went through some of the things that I've been receiving calls on also, just like you have. The Tech Steering Committee, that's still, it's fun to just sit there and listen to them talk about technology because it still blows right by my head. The SCAP meeting on the 15th, I think all of us were there, but Commissioner Halls, but that was a very good meeting. I did the TRICAP board meeting. They gave a presentation on an energy audit, which I thought was fascinating on how they're doing that. The District 5 meeting, I think we touched on all of the points in regards to that. I did also have commissioners come up to me and ask me about the nuclear moratorium lifting, so there is definitely an appetite for that. Yesterday I did a Zoom meeting. We reviewed the Elk River land presentation. Last night I did the Blue Hill Township and Haven Township. And one thing I like to say is we take a lot of credit for a lot of things that go on around here, but most of the things that evolved are staff-driven. And we get to the end result because of staff. And I can't emphasize enough how much staff is important to what we do around here, and I just want to thank them. So, and with that, take a 10-minute break,
Sounds good.
reconvene for the ditch authority.
Did you bring a video? Videos this time?
Something blowing up?
Just want to get practice.
We'll reconvene the meeting and open the Ditch Authority meeting. Looking for a motion to approve the agenda of the Ditch Authority.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Halls,
Second.
second by Commissioner Schubacher. All those in favor?
Aye.
And now we'll receive the ditch drainage technician report from Mike Lindenau. Hey, Mike?
Good morning, everyone. Any questions before I get started on my PowerPoint? Any questions regarding the written report or anything else that's on your mind?
No.
Okay.
Yep. You asked if there's anything else in my mind. Yep, there is something.
We can wait till after too, if you want.
Fair enough.
Cut him off.
All right. Ditch one. I don't have this in my report. This is just recent news here. 169 at County Road 4 overpass in Zimmerman. As part of the construction, Twin Pines is having a new access installed, and they are getting rerouted to the township road to the south on the east side of 169, south of 4. This is county ditch number 1. This is part of the project to put in these twin run of 48-inch RCP pipe for them to cross the ditch on their property. I was never consulted on this, but I'm not surprised, or I should be, I guess. But I don't like this when they put it in a double run like this with that much of a gap in it, and 2 pipes, a lot easier to plug up than just one big one. I guess I'm not understanding why they did this, because they have a box culvert underneath 169 right now, but it's here and there. It's in and done. This is another view. This is the outlet. They got a lot more work to do on the downstream side, widening and more riprap. They had the riprap on the one because they think they were using it as a bypass temporarily. And here's another view of from the south. A large wood chip pile that was stockpiled there, but that's now gone. Ditch 29. This is off of our old County Road 79, Big Lake Township. Was informed by the road authority for Big Lake Township that there was a sinkhole at the end of this cul-de-sac. Wasn't in the road, it was in the ditch in a yard, fortunately. So this is 214th Avenue, just east of County Road 15. As you can see, that pipe is partially collapsed up on the upper end of that. Partially collapsed, which created a void, which when the soil gets saturated enough, it'll start to fall in there and you get some wet conditions. It starts to go in there, and once it starts drawing into the pipe, it keeps going and going and going until you have a large enough air space in there where it just eventually gives away, and that's what happened in this yard.
Mr. Chair? Mike, what would you say caused that break?
I would say age, time, and possibly frost. These pipe are 100 years old or more. It's concrete pipe, but there's no reinforcement in it like the pipe we have today that's all reinforced with iron and rebar and mesh. So this is unreinforced concrete pipe. There's no joints. They're just butt jointed together, just like the old tile, the clay tile.
And how many would you estimate that we have of these kinds of pipes in the county?
There's several.
Okay.
Most of them aren't this big. This is pretty rare. This is a 24-inch concrete pipe. Or actually, it was a 28-inch, which is kind of an oddball, which I'll elaborate on here in a little bit. So what we did was collapsed it the rest of the way. And then they removed it to get it out of there. We installed, there was 3 of them. I don't know if you can tell on this picture, but there's also these other 2 pipe here have hairline fractures on the top. So it wouldn't be long, and these would do the same thing, and we'd be right back at it. Eventually, this whole run needs to be replaced. It's time. So what we did is we removed those 3 sections and inserted a piece of 24-inch dual corrugated pipe just as a temporary solution until we decide to spend the money and do the rest. It's gonna be over 500 feet. It's not gonna be cheap. So right now is not a great time to spend other people's money. So until something happens again in this area, fortunately between here and County Road 79, there is nothing but high ground and wetland. So it's not under a house or next to a house. So if there is another sinkhole, we can deal with that pretty easily. But I think at that time, it's time to replace the whole run. Unfortunately, when they built that township road, they replaced the pipe underneath that road. So we won't have to deal with that. Use filter fabric to wrap the ends on the butt joints. Because it was a 28-inch concrete pipe, the pipe is a little bit smaller. It was available, so we used it and filled the voids in with concrete and fabric. We wrapped the whole thing. We used 15 bags of Quikrete to seal it up with fabric and concrete. Made a nice joint at the connection. And backfilled it very carefully. This is one of the areas and few areas in the county where there's actually clay.
Mr. Chairman, I've got
Commissioner Schumacher.
This looks deep.
It is fairly deep. It's probably about 8 feet down.
8, okay.
And because it's clay, you know, the frost really can be an issue. It'll boil and expand a lot.
Yeah.
Even though it might be not all the way down to the pipe, but
Yeah.
the area above it and around it. Ditch 31. Yeah, this is in Woodland Hills Park, Elk River. Talked about this last time. We went in there and landowner on the east side of County Road 1 was concerned he had flooding in his back of his property. He was convinced that it was a few years back they put in a winter walking trail along over where the pipe is, over where the tile line is. He was convinced that the equipment and stuff possibly could have collapsed or damaged the pipe. So we went in there and verified to see if that was the case. We found the old tile. It didn't take very long. It's not very deep. Looking at the adjacent land around it, it was pretty fairly easy to pinpoint where it would be. This section of tile here is in good, it's not collapsed or damaged. But we went west and east of the trail. This is after we removed where the trail was and east and west of it. As you can tell, you know, we're in the groundwater here. And dewatering was a necessity and required. We brought in 1.5 inch rock to bridge it. Otherwise, there's no way you could even attempt to put in a new tile here. You'd be up to your knees and even if you put dry dirt in there, within about 30 seconds to a minute, it would just be mud. You just can't stay ahead of the water infiltrating in. This is where we connected to the east end. Put filter fabric underneath the tile. You go back until you hit a really good section of tile, so there, you can make a good connection. That's an electric pump there in that bucket. We put it in the bucket, otherwise the pump would plug up with mud. The bucket has a bunch of holes in it to let the water come in. And the whole idea behind dewatering is to pump the water out faster than it comes in. Underneath it, made a good, nice connection. We cut slots in this pipe so we could push it in about a ½ an inch, so at least it was inside the pipe. Wrapped it real good. Covered it with concrete mixture, Quickcrete, right around the joint. That's afterwards. So we let that dry for a little while before we backfilled and did more pipe to the west. Slowly backfilling over the middle of the pipe. He's holding the construction joint in place so it doesn't move while he's backfilling.
Ground wasps.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's another thing. I don't know why ground wasps like mud and black dirt. We ran into 2 nasty ground nests on this. They were so bad that we had to leave for about an hour until they settled down because they were attacking us.
Yeah, okay.
No, they weren't happy at all. So 5 cans later of wasp spray. I had to run to Menards and get some wasp spray.
They can sting more than once.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and once one bites you, the other ones would come after you too. It's bad.
It's a group effort.
The kid in the orange shirt there, he got bit 5 times.
Grab me an EpiPen.
This is a riser we put in on the upstream side. We're thinking about if we go any farther to repair this line, we're gonna have to just create an open ditch. Take the tile out and create an open ditch. It would cost way too much money to do what we did here with the rock. And it would take a long time. It'd be very costly because you'd be fighting the groundwater and you'd never be able to put a good grade on that pipe without using rock and dewatering. So we surrounded and encapsulated the riser all the way up so it wouldn't get plugged up with mud. So when we do, and if we do, an open ditch, the water, it'll go through that, filter through that rock. So this is the end where we connected to the west. As you can see, that's an open wetland there. The tile, I'm assuming is in pretty decent shape through there, but up on the top of the screen is where that yard is, where those trees were dying. And up there is where I'm pretty sure the pipe is destroyed. So if we went up to that point, we would put in a new tile. This is water coming out of it where we made the connection. Not a lot of water. It was fairly dry, but there is some water coming through, so the pipe is working somewhat. You would think there'd be a lot more coming, but that's it. Another dewatering, there's an electric pump again. We also, there's the generator that runs the electric pump. We also used a 5-inch trash pump that did the bulk of the work at the beginning to take the water out of the hole, and the electric pump basically it maintains. So the trash pump moves a lot of water quickly. Backfilling, we had a little bit extra rock, so we put it on top of the drain tile, and it was perforated drain tile, so it is taking water. This is where that orange riser was. We took that out and put this jug in there just to keep rock from falling in. When we're digging out and backfilling and putting, placing rock. This is the finished area afterwards. We did the best we could as far as grading, but when the water, soil is that saturated and wet, it's hard to do a good job until it dries out. But we worked with the Parks Department, and they were gonna come in there after it dried out and regrade it and seed it for us. So they said they wanted to be good partners and they would help us out. And we had a couple trees we had to take out of the way too that were in the way, and they were gonna take care of them for us too. So it's nice to have good partners to work with. We're all kind of on the same team here, so.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Danielowski.
Thank you. So, Mike, when you say that eventually you think the solution to this issue is going to be an open ditch?
Yeah, back there, to cut an open ditch to repair that line to the north, up there where the trees are. Because if, you know, there could be another collapsed pipe up in there that we don't even know about, or a damaged pipe that's blocking the flow of water. So I think the easiest and cheapest solution would to make an open ditch. It's been done in the past to create an open ditch.
When you say open ditch, I'm assuming that you would just create a, like a long hole that kind of runs so deep.
Yep.
Water will just keep moving.
Yep.
And it will always probably have water in it. I think of, when I think of open ditches, I'm assuming like southern Minnesota, where along the farm fields, they've got
Yep.
those deep areas.
Yeah, we have several of those too. I mean, we'd go down to basically the bottom of the grade of the existing pipe and then make it about 4 feet wide and then slope it up.
Yep.
Just like we do on the way a lot of our open ditches are.
Okay.
Be a lot easier to maintain, cheaper to maintain. And you know, that'd be the best solution, I believe.
And with the landowners along these areas, I mean, I don't know, they probably like the fact when they see green cover as versus open ditches with running water. Would that be something you'd have to talk to them about, or would we just be doing it?
This is actually in the park. This is part of the
Okay.
park property.
All right.
And they said, yeah, whatever you need to do. I mean, we're for it. It's just a wetland anyways.
That's what I
It's
was
not really gonna change anything, except we'll have an open ditch.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yep. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you.
We will have some videos in the next meeting. There's a couple beaver dams up on County Road 4 where we were last year, 2 years ago, we were in the exact same location. So I got a beaver trapper on board. We're so close to the trapping season, they usually don't like to issue nuisance permits, the DNR, unless it's an absolute necessity, a public safety issue. His crops are out of the field. It's not, and they're not very high right now. So we're gonna wait until trapping season opens, which is a week from Saturday. And then he doesn't have to waste the beaver and bury them like normal during non-trapping season. So he'll be able to utilize them, and we don't have any waste. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. So whenever trapping seasons open up, he's gonna get in there and then we'll go in there and remove the dams. Yeah, and the beaver, hopefully.
Commissioner Schumacher.
They always seem to come back though. I don't know.
Mr. Chairman, my commented before and after the presentation is still the same. The ditch assessment and the staff at our Auditor Treasurer's Department did a fantastic job in getting the message out, and I only received a couple phone calls, and the phone calls were all solved from the last one. So I want to just commend our staff for their ability to handle the calls and the great work that they do, because it makes a difference, if, like what you said, people don't like spending other people's money, and our staff is able to manage that and do a very good job, and that includes you too, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Plus, Mr. Chair, a lot of times, people don't have any understanding of what a ditch is and why am I paying for any part of it. So I think education is a key, and I think our staff does a great job of that too.
Yeah, and right now I haven't had a lot of requests for ditch maintenance. I think a lot of it because it's been dry the last few months, and I think a lot of it has to do with people are tightening their purse strings. They just, unless it's absolutely necessary, they don't want to have to pay to get something done. And I can't blame them.
Mr. Chairman, I had one other question. On the ditch back off in Zimmerman, did they further pursue changing the ditch to the corners of the property? Remember, that was kind of mentioned 2 meetings ago, I think you had mentioned that.
I'm sorry, can you refresh my memory here?
Yeah, it's on that same ditch 1. They wanted to move the ditch to match the property lines instead of cutting it through because they were going to do wetland credits. They wanted to pursue the wetland bank.
That's still in progress, and I have not heard anything lately.
It's okay. Stay tuned. Just
Yep,
curious. Thank
stay
you.
tuned.
I need a motion to accept the ditch authority report.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hull, second by Commissioner Schubacher. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
So I will close the ditch authority meeting and reconvene an open workshop.